We're talking about something fun today. We're talking about the vacated targets
Yeah.
and kind of what that can mean for guys and opportunities that can bring. And does it matter even?
Yeah. Because
Um,
there's some teams that vacated targets I think mean a lot for. And then there's other teams that vacated targets don't mean nearly as much for. Like, look at this podcast. The last 2 weeks, there was a lot of vacated words. There's a lot of vacated talking, and it didn't amount to much, right? Like, you just took over everything. So,
you know,
some teams, it's not going to matter as
I
much.
it did, and you could argue that those who did get their opportunity to step up and have more time on the mic, myself here, didn't do anything with the extra targets, right? So there's that possibility too, right? You see a Juju Smith-Schuster and an MVS step in all these Tyreek Hill targets. They didn't do much with them though. So that was me. I am the MVS of the ADP.
Yeah, so basically, what is vacated targets? Very simply, it is exactly what it sounds, right? Where when a player leaves the team, right, his amount of targets are now vacated. Certain players, that's going to mean more for, right? So it's nice to give you an idea of what opportunity there might be now on that offense, but also offenses are changing year over year. So that is why I say sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes you got to be a little cautious. The top three teams, do we just want to highlight them first,
Yeah, we can
or
talk
how
about.
do
We
you want
talk.
to start?
Yeah, let's start with the teams the most, and then we'll kind of talk about some pick and choose some others that we think really have some opportunities for some
Yeah.
players. Somewhere maybe we're concerned because like there's one team that I look at that's very low on vacated targets, but they have a new player who are expected to get quite a few targets. So in that kind of a situation, is there enough ball to go around? Right, you can run to that
There's
also.
only one ball.
That's right. And yeah, if you don't have anybody leave, but you have somebody come in, that could really disturb things also.
So the number one team in vacated targets is the Houston Texans with 357, followed by the Green Bay Packers at 258, followed by the Tampa Bay Bucks at 238. So those are your top three. We kind of had this discussion earlier via text, but those are the three teams that I don't really think matter a whole lot as far as their vacated targets necessarily mean something for the next guy. And what I basically, just to sum it up really quickly, with the Texans, new staff, new quarterback, new pieces of the offense, right? So you have John Mechie should be back this year, ready to play. You bring in the rookies, Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell, and then free agent additions of Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary. That's a lot of names, right? To split up 357 carries or targets, sorry. The next team as well, the Packers on there. This one I'm not paying much attention to vacated targets because new quarterback. I believe there's going to be somewhat of a system change there. We're going to see the full LaFleur offense, and it's kind of an out with the old, in with the new, right? Because you're getting Randall Cobb out, Alan Lazard out, um, Robert Tunyon out, but now you bring in the new, right? Two new tight ends. One of them can definitely do what Robert Tunyon could not. He's a much better pass catching tight end versus Tunyon, much more athletic, I think. And then you have uh, a, a new rookie in Jaden Reed, who's kind of a younger Randall Cobb, I guess, if he's going to run the slot, because you saw old man Cobb,
Right.
right? So you're just kind of out with the old, in with the new, is what I wrote down on the Packer side. And then with the Bucks, again, new quarterback, they're going to throw a lot less. And this is the one I think we want to spend just a minute on because we were both saying the same thing via text. But you think it matters more the vacated targets of 238. I don't think it means as much, but we both are saying the same thing, that we both think it's Godwin and Evans who are going to be they're going to be fine, right? They're going to throw less, smaller pie. They're just getting a larger chunk. They're going to get theirs. To me, I look at it as there's 238 vacated targets. They're not going to anyone because they're just not going to throw as much.
Real quick, do you happen to have the pass attempts for the Buccaneers last year?
It's like 700, wasn't it?
I think it was like 711 or something like that. I've got
Yeah.
them projected right now for 586. They're one of the teams I did my projections on so far this year. and 586 last year. That was what the Vegas Raiders had at 11th. And so basically, what I think this matters for the Buccaneers. I think having 200 targets that are no longer on the team, being a lot of them being Leonard Fournette, with he had 86 last year, or I'm sorry, 83 last year. Then what? Julio had 43, Scotty Miller had 40, Cameron Braid had 38. I think what we'll see is a lot of those level targets are just going to either be gone in the case of Fournette or maybe reduced in the case of whatever was Julio, Miller, Braid. I think you see those numbers go down. And I think it means that Evans and Godwin can sell their pie. And the reason I think that this is important for this team is because I think a lot of people are saying, well, they're going to throw less. So that means less targets for Godwin and Evans. Versus what I'm saying is they let those guys go. They didn't really replace them at all. I think that there will be less targets, but I think the Godwin and Evans targets stay roughly the same. Last year Godwin had 9.74 per 9.47 per game. Evans had 8.47 per game. I put them at Evans for 7.5 and Godwin at 8.25. So I had them both losing about 1 target per game. I think that's more likely the fall you see. And I think part of that goes hand in hand. Yeah, they're going to throw less, but those other targets being gone, I think means that Godwin and Evans can be just fine.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm looking at here. Godwin had 142, Evans had 127. I can see them both losing 15 to 20 each. So that's right around that game, 1 per game. So that's kind of where I see it there.
I've got 138 for Godwin, 123 for Evans. So I think that.
So I mean that's the same. Evans was 127 last year, so he's right around the same then for you. I kind of think Evans loses a little bit more than that. Maybe not necessarily a 15 to 20, but I do think he loses a little bit more than that. And that's another reason I'm not a huge Evans guy this year. But
you're actively anti Mike Evans. You're not a huge Mike Evans guy. No, you are actively anti Mike Evans. And that's fine.
At one point, I was such a big Evans guy, and I have just slowly declined. Like I'm like a win probability chart. I was like so high early, and I've just slowly declined over the years. And now I'm apparently very anti Mike Evans.
You are. You hate the guy. And by the way, for the Packers, I guess what we are saying again the same thing, but in opposite viewpoints of I do think it matters that Allen Lazard's 100 targets are gone. Because even though they will probably throw less, again, I think that just means part of the pie is gone.
I don't really think they're going to throw that much less.
No?
No, I mean,
no, that's true.
Let me get it pulled up here, but I mean, it's not like they threw a ton last year.
They were 18th in pass attempts last year. So
yeah, I don't really see that. Average. I don't really see that getting any worse. So I kind of think pass attempts are going to stay kind of where they are. But you kind of have more mouths to feed at this point, where it's just like I said, you get Randall Cobb out of there, who only plays about Randall Cobb doesn't play a ton of snaps anyways. Allen Lazard did play a lot of snaps. He got 100 targets. You're going to divvy those up. I don't see Watson and Dobbs per game targets drastically improving because you got to feed Jaden Reed. I think is going to be involved right away. Maybe not like right away week 1, but I think early in the season he gets involved, and I think one of the tight ends is probably going to be involved. I think.
Tunyon got 67 targets last year. That was tied for third on the team.
Yeah, catch rate wise, that's what, probably 50 catches,
79%, 53 catches.
Okay, so
that's a lot of tight end targets that left. That
you drafted 2, you brought 2 in.
How often are 2 rookie tight ends really going to be making any kind of Josh DeGuara?
I'm not saying they're going to step in and be Gronk Hernandez.
But DeGuara had 15 targets last year.
DeGuara's nothing.
Exactly. I'm saying chances are a rookie tight end when you draft 2, chances are 1 is nothing year 1.
And that could be very true. But
the other one is lucky to hit 67 targets.
Yes, but if one hits 50 to 55 targets, the other one gets 20. There you've taken over Tunyon's targets.
Sure. Okay, I see what you're saying there.
But
okay.
So here's another thing that I kind of think with the Packers, and I don't want to spend too long on them, but one thing that Aaron Rodgers never really did was throw over the middle of the field. He was an outside guy. This Matt LaFleur offense, it would not surprise me if they dink and dunk over the little bit or over the middle a little bit more to their safety blankets, who could end up being a Luke Musgrave, who could end up being Jaden Reed in the slot. And I think he's going to move Watson all over the place. So it would not surprise me if you just take Lazard, take Tunyon, and you just divvy him up between 3 to 4 people.
Maybe I need to move Romeo Dobbs up a little bit because I just don't see the tight ends being all that impactful year one.
So for me,
maybe Dobbs can get that target share.
Everyone who is on the sidelines at Packers camps, all of the reporters have been raving about Luke Musgrave and just the way he looks on the football field, the way he moves. They're like, a guy this size should not be able to move like this. And I just constantly see it. And it's got me really excited about Luke Musgrave.
Okay. I feel like we hear this every year about at least 4 rookie tight ends. So who are you taking first overall? Dalton Kincaid or Luke Musgrave? Who's your first overall pick now?
At the 101?
At the 101 overall, yeah.
No, but I feel like, and maybe it's because I follow the Packers a little more closely, but I just like outside of Kyle Pitts, like I just can't remember. Like
I heard this about Irv Smith 6 years ago.
See, I don't.
We heard this about
consistent.
That's because you're there. I think it's because you're there.
Well, and but it's on Twitter. It's not like I'm listening to it live.
But
like,
you're probably following more. You're probably following more people,
and that could very well be it. And I'm trying to temper my expectations because of that. Yes, I follow a lot of Packers beat.
We heard this exact thing about Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki was just in the wrong place.
Sure, and maybe is he's in the right place now? Probably not.
No, the poor guy.
I'm drawing a blank on some other names at the moment. Because a lot of them probably just failed and are out of the league. Isaiah Likely was kind of like this a year ago right now. I saw a ton of Isaiah Likely hype.
Yeah, but Mark Andrews isn't in the green and gold.
No, he's not. But I would have thought that he would have been a phase of the offense, and he just wasn't. Right? Like with how good Isaiah Likely was in training camps. And also you gotta remember, these are rookie camps. These are OTAs. These are fully no pad, no contact, nothing. It's a guy running around in shorts right now. I think that there's only so much you can take from that. And big, fast dudes are gonna get puffed up this time of year, right? Guys who look like power forwards in the NBA that are out there on the football field right now. Those are guys that everyone's going to say, wow, what a freak this guy is. He's going to be the greatest player we've ever seen at this position. And a lot of times, at least rookie year, and I'm not burying him for his career, right? I'm just saying
I think you hate Luke Musgrave.
No, I don't.
He's your Mike Evans.
No, because I was never high on him at this point, right? Like, it's his rookie year. No, like, he's probably going to end up having a similar career curve for me as hopefully David Njoku, who now I love 5 years in, right? Like that's or maybe it's a Dallas Goedert career curve, right? Where it's like for first couple years ago, yeah, I mean, you're an exciting tight end prospect, but you are a tight end. And that's why I've been low on Kyle Pitts for 2 years. And now I'm in on Kyle Pitts, right? Like it's kind of that kind of thing where it's just, and maybe he's awesome, and I'll be totally wrong on this. I'm just going to bet against the rookie tight end making really any impact.
Yeah, and I don't want it to sound like I'm saying, oh, go grab this guy in round 8 because he's going to be the steal of the draft. Like, I'm not saying he's going to have an 800-yard season as a rookie.
Are you now taking him over your boy Trey McBride?
Yeah, I would take him over Trey McBride.
I would take Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Are you taking him or America's boy Dalton Kincaid?
I don't have to take Kincaid. Like, I can wait till the last round to just grab Musgrave. I haven't moved him yet. He's right behind Jake Ferguson, and I kind of want to move both of them up, and they're probably going to be sitting late teens for me.
I've got them both actually within 3 spots of each other. I've got Musgrave at 28, Ferguson at 30. I don't know.
So right now I have them 22, 23. I will probably move them up. And I'm going to get him ahead of McBride, get him ahead of Laporta. So, I mean, they'll probably be around 17, 18 for me, maybe 18, 19. But they'll be inside my top 20.
Okay, but they're still in the point there is they still are in the irrelevant tight end pool. And I think, I mean, I don't live there. I don't know. I don't follow as many people as you do. I've seen some good stuff on Romeo Dobbs, though. I've got him all the way down wide receiver 60. It would be tough for me to move him up much, but maybe I should be thinking about it.
Dobbs is getting the national attention because he's had teammates talking about him.
Yeah.
And he has been, I think it was Domofsky maybe that was just like Love's go-to guy has been Dobbs. That catches a lot of traction.
Yeah. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed me and Tanner talking a little bit about vacated targets with the Buccaneers and with the Packers. And hey, if you enjoyed that, you want to check out more, go ahead and click on over on the other video there. We're talking a little bit about Detroit Lions. We're going to talk a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks and kind of what vacated targets mean for those teams. So check that one out too.